White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has no answer for those who are out of work on the Keystone Pipeline. Joe Biden's minimum wage plan will cost a staggering number of jobs, plus the Senate votes at the Trump impeachment trial will continue. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki because there's another example this week that she is not ready for the job. Now, granted, I would have a hard time defending Joe Biden's position to the American public and the media, but Jen Psaki is supposed to be a Biden supporter. She's supposed to know these policies and be able to relay them to the media and to all of us. She can't do the job. So that brings us specifically to Joe Biden and the Keystone Pipeline, because as you know, on day one, he signed an executive order killing the pipeline, killing that construction, and killing the thousands of jobs that go with it. And why? Because he said it was for the environment, because there was going to be these new green jobs to replace them. Well, here are the facts. There are currently 2.6 million miles of pipeline crisscrossing the country, delivering natural gas, petroleum products, 2.6 million miles of pipeline, delivering these products each day, every day, not affecting the environment. Joe Biden says this is about the environment, and we know it's not. This is a political stunt to curry favor with the far left. It doesn't help the environment, but you know what it does? It hurts real people by killing real jobs. So this topic came up in the White House press briefing. Fox News' Peter Doocy asked a basic question, a logical question, and here's what he said.
When is it that the Biden administration is going to let the thousands of fossil fuel industry workers, whether it's pipeline workers or construction workers, who are either out of work or will soon be out of work because of a Biden EO, when it is and where it is that they can go for their green job?
I love this question. Biden takes this executive action, kills thousands of jobs, and no plan in place. What are these people supposed to do? Where are their green jobs? Here's the reply.
Well, I'd certainly welcome you to present your data of all the thousands and thousands of people who won't be getting a green job. Maybe next time you're here, you can present that.
All right, so what is that? Is she disputing the fact that people will lose their jobs? Because she sure didn't answer the question. She's going on about the number, challenging Peter Doocy on the number of jobs lost, when the question is the people who have lost their jobs, regardless of the number, where are their green jobs? So then Doocy went and listed the facts, quoting a major union organization saying that 11,000 jobs will be lost either immediately or from future construction. And here's her reply to that.
President Biden has proposed a climate plan with transformative investments in infrastructure and laid out a plan that will not only create millions of good union jobs, but also help tackle the climate crisis. And as the president has indicated when he gave his primetime address to talk about the American Rescue Plan, he talked about his plans to also put forward a jobs plan in the weeks or months following.
Biden will put out a jobs plan in the weeks or months following. So let's get this straight. His approach to helping people in America is to first kill the jobs, put them out of work, and then in a few weeks or months, put out a plan for green jobs. Not jobs for them, but a plan for jobs. That's the Joe Biden approach. So Peter Doocy tried one last time.
It's been 19 days since that EO, so what are these people who need money now? When do they get their green job?
Well, the president and many Democrats and Republicans in Congress believe that investment in infrastructure, building infrastructure that's in our national interests and that boosts the U.S. economy, creates good-paying union jobs here in America and advances our climate and clean energy goals are something that we can certainly work on doing together. And he has every plan to share more about his details of that plan in the weeks ahead.
So when do people get these green jobs? And then a bunch of nonsense from Psaki. That's what she says. So my question to you, please add them in the comments, is when do you think the green jobs are coming? I've got a pretty good idea, but I want to hear what you think. All right, so next, let's talk about Joe Biden's plan on minimum wage. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right, so with one stroke of the pen, Joe Biden killed thousands of jobs on the Keystone Pipeline. But that is just the beginning. His federal minimum wage, $15 minimum wage, will kill even more, a staggering number more. And here's the story. Raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour would lift nearly 1 million people out of poverty, but would leave even more people without any job at all, the Congressional Budget Office said in a new analysis that deals another blow to President Biden's demand for a wage hike in the next coronavirus relief bill. A higher federal standard also would raise costs for Americans and for the federal government itself, as Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare pay more to lower wage health workers, CBO said. Though fewer people would be on welfare, the deficit would take a $54 billion hit over the next decade. So first, I just have to, take issue with a little bit of the wording in that news story of lifting 1 million people out of poverty with this artificial adjustment to the minimum wage. You can't lift people out of poverty with a policy that is not supported by the economy. When the economy is roaring along, like in the Trump administration, wages rose. Middle class wages rose dramatically, more than the upper class. That is just a fact. When the economy is down, no means of policy of an artificial wage is going to save someone from getting laid off or downsized. That's just the fact. And here's more. CBO said job losses would accumulate over the years, and by 2025, 1.4 million fewer people would be working thanks to the increase. Half of those would be unemployed and looking for jobs, but half would have left the labor force altogether, the analyst said. Young, less educated people would account for a disproportionate share of those reductions in employment, CBO said. So the very people helped by the Trump economy, lower taxes, fewer regulations, get out of the way, let people do their thing, make their own money, those very people would be hurt. And you can imagine why, because the left doesn't truly want people working and making better wages. It's all about power and control with the left. The last thing they want is people getting up, going to work, earning money, making their own decisions with their own money. They want people more dependent on government, and the Joe Biden plan will do exactly that. So next, let's talk about what's going on in the Senate, because yesterday there were discussions. You heard from the House managers, you heard from the Trump legal defense team on the constitutionality of what's going on. So it wasn't the Senate impeachment trial yesterday. It was Senate impeachment proceedings, seeing if there's going to be a trial. Is it constitutional? So you heard from both sides, and here's the story. Former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial is constitutional and valid, the Senate decided Tuesday, clearing the way for arguments to begin on whether he incited the insurrection by inflaming the mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol last month. After 4 hours of arguments from House impeachment managers and Trump's defense team, the Senate voted 56-44 to affirm that it's constitutional to try an official who is no longer in office. So the vote was 56-44 in the Senate. The Senate is currently tied 50-50 as far as the number of Democrats and Republicans. All the Democrats voted to proceed with this bogus impeachment ordeal. That's 50. Where are the other 6? Who are the Republicans that joined in? Here's the list. Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitt Romney of Utah, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. So those first 5 names, those should sound familiar to you. They should sound familiar because just a couple of weeks ago, Senator Rand Paul put a motion in front of the Senate to address the constitutionality of the Senate impeachment trial. All the Democrats voted saying, yeah, it's constitutional, let's go along with it. And those 5, Murkowski and Collins and Romney and Sasse and Toomey, they voted with the Democrats. This time around, Bill Cassidy joined in. He said this should go on. And history is not on their side, folks. It makes no sense. If you read the Constitution, it says that the Senate tries the president, and what they can do is remove from office and then vote to see if they should ever hold office again. So their first primary job is to remove the person from office if that's the guilty verdict. You can't do that if the person is out of office. It makes absolutely no sense, but those are the senators right there that voted to continue this on, not pushing for unity. The best thing Joe Biden could have done is say, hey, we're not going to do this. Let's come together. But now we're still doing this. It's going to divide the country. And those are the Republicans that are stepping forward to help with that. So next, let's talk about what's going on YouTube, because censorship is still going strong. And this time we have an example that is absolutely outrageous. You have a doctor, a medical expert, talking about the benefits of a drug that are helping COVID-19 patients, helping prevent them from getting it. And that video banned from YouTube. Now this, you might be thinking, okay, this is some fringe guy down in some basement making a homemade video. No, this is a medical expert, and the video was on C-SPAN. It was coverage of this doctor's testimony in front of Congress. That testimony, that video was removed from YouTube, and here's the story. Dr. Pierre Kory is speaking out after YouTube took drastic action by removing his recent Senate testimony that discussed a promising coronavirus treatment. Kory, the president of Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, testified before the Senate Homeland Security Committee in December and spoke about ivermectin, which the FLCCC Alliance described as an FDA-approved antiparasitic agent that has been shown in numerous controlled trials around the world to prevent and treat COVID-19. The drug, which is used to treat tropical diseases caused by parasites, showed promising results in a study performed in Argentina last year. In the study, 788 healthcare workers received ivermectin, while another 407 did not. Not a single person who received ivermectin contracted COVID-19, while more than half of the group who did not receive ivermectin did contract the virus. Unreal. You have this treatment, it's been around, they want to use it, they've shown in trials what it can do for COVID-19, and that testimony is banned. Talking about pushing a narrative, talking about free speech and the lack thereof, you can't even share opinions. And we're not talking about fringe opinions, we're talking about medical expert opinions that differ from the approved left-wing narrative. It's absolutely outrageous, folks, and Congress needs to do something. We can't just have news stories talking about the latest thing that YouTube or Twitter has banned. Something needs to be done, and here's more. A spokesman for YouTube defended its actions, stating, "We enforce our community guidelines consistently, regardless of speaker and without regard to political viewpoints. In accordance with our COVID-19 misinformation policy, we removed the two videos in question." Kory argued that YouTube is negating the follow the science mantra pushed by top government officials across the country, including the Biden administration, saying the tech giant is only following the science made available to them by trusted leading agencies and not researchers and clinicians on the ground who always have been and always will be deep sources of breaking scientific information. This is censorship, folks, pure and simple. You deviate from the talking points, from the narrative, and you get banned. This is a substance that has been around. The studies show that it can be beneficial in treating COVID-19. This guy was in front of the Senate testifying, and that testimony is banned. It is absolutely outrageous, and this goes way beyond the pale. This is George Orwell's 1984, the Ministry of Truth, and it is just getting worse. With Biden coming into office, we see Twitter and YouTube emboldened to do whatever they want. We have to fight back. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.